Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to go over dimensions for a John Deere 1025R. Yes, the 1 Series John Deere, okay? It's one of those things I've wanted to do for a while, so now I'm going to go ahead and do it for you guys. So a couple months ago, I put something on YouTube and on Facebook asking for user input, viewer input on dimensions that they want to see. So this is an experiment here with the 1025R, and hopefully future iterations with other models will incorporate additional dimensions as well. So if there's a dimension you want to see and I didn't include it, just leave a comment below and maybe I can run back out to the shop and get that dimension, or somebody else can provide it as well. And if you want to see more fun stuff about the 1025R, make sure you subscribe to my channel. This one right here, this is my 1025R. I'm keeping it for the year. I'm doing some fun stuff to it, some modifications, have a lot of good plans in store for this year. I've already put duals on the tractor along with quite a few other things. Having a lot of fun with it. I'd love for you to join along. Guys, I've got a question for you later too. You know, I had decided to keep this 1025R here for the year. I'm kind of thinking I want that one. So I don't want you guys to get upset with me or anything else, but I'm thinking of going to this 2018. It has a backhoe on there, and I want to tell you why in just a little while. So hear me out before you chastise me, because I think it's a valid reason, but I want to know what you think. If you want me to stick it out with this machine here, I will do so. I don't know. You know I like change. So anyway, listen to it and let me know. So this is my list right here that we're going to go down today. So I'm just going to go through them real quick, rattle off those dimensions. We'll get you a few things too, like weights that I had to look up online, but just a good source for as much information, dimensional data type of thing that you can get in one spot about this tractor. I think you're going to find that some of this stuff is pretty surprising, and what it's helpful for is for folks that are buying a tractor or planning on a future purchase or a future trailer purchase or a barn build or something like that. You want to make sure you have enough space allocated for the tractor. On the trailer itself, you want to make sure it's wide enough, long enough, all that kind of thing. Or even if you're looking for attachments, it's just fun to know that kind of information so you can have a better understanding of the tractor itself. And I thought, what better place to start than the 1025R? So we're going to get into the dimensions here, but I do want to point out that this is a 2016 1025R right here, all right? And this is a 2018 1025R. So there's an old generation and a new generation that are represented here. I've already done some initial measurements, and everything measures the same as far as wheelbase goes, width goes, that kind of thing. So when I take a wheelbase measurement, for instance, or a wheel dimension, or the height to the deck, that kind of thing, I'm just going to do it on one of these tractors. However, this 2018 has a backhoe on it, and so there's some dimensions there that I want to make sure I get you guys with the backhoe included, all right? So we'll do a bit of a mixture here, and that's just to incorporate configurations with and without a backhoe. I don't have a cab. I'd love to get some cab information, some cab dimensions. A big one is going to be the exact measured clearance to fit in a door, inside a garage door, all right? And not the dimension it says online, you know, not the stock dimension, but what's a physical hard dimension, because those real world dimensions can be totally different from what they say online. Overall length of the tractor to the back of the 3-point hitch, 104 inches. Overall length from the front of the bucket to the back of the 3-point hitch, 134 inches. Overall length of the tractor from the front of the bucket to the back of the backhoe, 178 inches. Overall length from the front of the bucket to the back of the backhoe when it's folded as far as it can be to the side, 153 inches. Okay, so for transport, you can save another 13 inches if you load it like this. So instead of 153, this is only 140 inches from the front right up here to the backhoe when it's folded to the side. Okay, so for transport, again, no backhoe. Put your bucket underneath your loader arms like this, have it stored like that. The minimum distance you can get by with is 120 inches. Okay, so wheelbase, that is going to be center line to center line of the front and rear axle. All right, so center line to center line, you're gonna be at 58 inches. Okay, this one here, you're getting a 2-for-1, all right? We're gonna get you to measurement outside to outside of the duallies, and then a measurement outside to outside of a single rear axle, okay? If you choose to go that route. Okay, outside to outside of the single rear axle is gonna be 47.5 inches. All right, outside to outside of the dually setup, 67.5 inches. Outside to outside of the front axle with R4 tires. We'll measure the Versaturfs here next. 45 inches. Interesting, 44 inches with the Versaturfs. This one here is a 54-inch deck, okay? 54-inch mower deck, outside to outside of deflector, 69 inches. Outside to outside with deflector up, 60 inches. Outside to outside with no deflector, 57 inches. Okay, so this is a 60-inch deck for the 1025R, for my 1025R that's inside right now. There's no chute on here, so I'm gonna give you the raw dimension of what it is, 61 inches. However, we can do some math. It's the same chute that's on the 54 inside that would go on here as well. So we'll go inside, we'll make that difference, and we'll get you the dimension width from outside to outside of chute on the other side for the 60-inch as well. Oh, and just so you know, this does have a mulch kit on the other side. It adds an extra ½ inch to the width. Okay, so the 54-inch with no chute on it at all was 57. With the chute was 69, so that's 12 inches right there. So we take the 12 inches for the chute, add it to our no chute dimension on the 60-inch deck, which is 61 inches. So 61 plus 12 is 73. Hopefully you're with me. Overall width of the 60-inch deck with the chute, outside to outside, is 73 inches. Okay, we have two different buckets here, so it's a good time to take overall width dimensions, outside to outside dimensions of each one of these, and let you know what they are. So your max width is actually on the cutting edge down here, which is 55 inches. If you want to go inside to inside, it's 53.5 inches. If you go up here on the top rail, 53.5. Inside opening, 18 inches. I know there's somebody out there that can get a good volume dimension for these buckets. I'm just not really sure how to accomplish that. I don't know what other dimensions to really take, but hopefully somebody can help us out. This is a smaller bucket over here. Let's check it out. Your maximum width, 51.25 inches. Your inside, 49.75. Your top rail, 49.7/8. Our inside opening height, 17.75. Just because we're going to measure the overall clear space between the inside of the tires, both front and rear. We'll see what those clearances are. 29.5 inches inside the front tires, 23 inches inside the rear tires. So the lowest part I can see is going to be right here, that's tied into your steering mechanism right here, which is going to be 9.5 inches of clearance underneath the front axle area. The axle itself is actually sitting up a little bit higher than this point right here, this joint. So two fun dimensions right here. First, we're going to have our rear axle clearance, but then we're also going to have our mower deck linkage clearance as well, which you can see this sits up substantially higher than that rear axle does. So this isn't going to be much of an issue at all, which is good to know for those guys that have mower decks on their 1025Rs. Looks like this auto connect linkage is the lowest point, which is 11.25 inches to the lowest point on the auto connect linkage. Our lowest point here on the rear axle is going to be 7 inches on the dot. We're going to go ahead and fire this tractor up and raise the mower deck, and we'll get a max distance, a max clearance from the ground to the bottom side of that mower deck. Let's see, we're looking at about 3.25 inches of clearance underneath there. Let's measure from the ground to the top of the floorboard. 20.25 inches. Just for fun, we'll measure from the floor to the top of the hood, the highest point on the hood. 47.5 inches. Let's go ahead and give you some overall ROPS height from the floor. Okay, overall height on the 2018 style, this kind that has the ROPS that leans forward, 90 inches. Okay, here's the dimension on the older style with the more vertically straight up and down ROPS. 86.5 inches. These folded heights look really similar. We'll take a measurement really quick. 67 inches on the new style. 66.75 on the old style. Let's go ahead and take dimensions of the tubes itself, inside to inside and outside to outside. 2 inches by 2 inches. Same on both styles. Inside to inside, 27 and a half. 27 and a half on both. Outside to outside, 31 and a half. 31 and a half here too. I was asked about this one the other day. Floor to top of the backhoe, 66 and a half. One more in the backhoe. I'm going to turn it to the side. We'll see the overall width with the backhoe to the side. It looks like the mower deck is still the widest part, but pretend there's no mower deck on there. This is just max width of the backhoe when it's turned to the side. 61 inches. Okay, we're going to get some dimensions here related to the seat itself. So here we go. This one here is just an eyeball test, okay? Floor to the seat cushion. 39 inches from the floor to right here, okay? Now we're going to do a minimum distance between the dash and the seat and a maximum distance between the dash and the seat. Minimum distance is 5 inches. Maximum is 9 3/4. Now we're going to do the minimum and the maximum height of the 3-point hitch. So I'm going to go back right here to the pin that's going through the quick hitch here and use that, the center line of it, as the minimum height. And I'll do the same thing. I'll raise it all the way up and use the same point, center line of this pin, for the maximum height. Now I know I've seen a video by Tractor Time with Tim where he did something to adjust his, I think, maximum lift height. So I think there is an adjustment. I didn't take the time to look at it again to determine what that was and if that's feasible for everybody or if it's some kind of one-off modification. I don't really remember. So anyway, we're going to go with what this is set up as right now with a max height and a minimum height. Minimum is 6.5. Maximum is 24. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure the diameter of the fronts and the rears, both on the Versaturfs and on the R4s. Keep in mind this measurement's going to vary for you guys depending on your tread wear, depending on your tire pressure, that kind of thing as well. It's just a data point for you. 18 inches on the fronts here, 17 and a half here. Keep in mind these are used. This tractor has 180 hours on it. These tires here have like 2 hours on them. That may come into play just a little bit. Okay, now let's measure the rears. 25 and a half on the Versaturf, 25 on the R4. Let's get you a quick measurement on the width as well. 11 1/4 on the Versaturf, 12 on the R4. Now for the fronts, 7 and a half, 8 1/4. So really quick here, I did this in a previous video when I did the weight of the tires, but I want to include it here as well. So an air-filled R4 is going to weigh 42 pounds. These Versaturfs are probably a little bit different, but give or take a few pounds, they're going to be somewhere right around there. When I had these Versaturfs filled with liquid, it added 135 pounds of liquid ballast. So you do 42 plus 135, you're at what, 177 pounds, give or take, right around there per tire, okay? So you can add a decent amount of liquid ballast in the back end there and really help out your counterweight that you need, very important. Okay, so now it's time for some weights. And I did grab this information offline. I don't have any commercial scales around here, but I took my time, went to a few different places. There is a little bit of conflicting data that's out there, but take this for what it is. It'll get you close, I think. So base weight of the tractor is 1,444 pounds. So the D120 loader, you're not going to see that very often on the 1025R. It's not made by John Deere anymore, but if you're in the used market and you see a 1025R with the D120 on it, I've seen a few of them, there's not many. That D120 loader with a bucket on there, I don't know what size bucket, is 488 pounds. Okay, so I couldn't find the 120R weight. I don't know if that's going to vary from the H120 or not. They're very similar. They're not identical, but they're very similar. So the weight with a bucket on there, again, I don't know if it's going to be the smaller bucket or the bigger bucket, but the weight with a bucket, 541 pounds. Didn't find the weight of the 54-inch mower deck, but I can tell you I got the weight of the 60-inch mower deck, 324 pounds. Weight of the 260 backhoe, didn't see the 260B anywhere. I think that one probably weighs a little bit more. It has its own seat and some other things. But weight of the 260 backhoe, 610 pounds, probably add a little bit more for the 260B. Okay, so the reason I'm thinking about changing, going from the 2016 to the 2018, is because Good Works Tractors is moving. Okay, it's not official, I guess, until it actually happens, but it's pending right now. So Good Works Tractors, along with the Scott family, are moving from where we're living now. We're going to consolidate and move to a cool piece, a 40-acre piece of land that's got a couple barns on it and a house, you know. So I'm a big-time hunter, and so I'll have my own place. It's open ag land right now. It'll give me a lot of opportunities to form that land and plant things and shape it and do what I want as far as hunting goes. Should make for a lot of good videos, you know, and then also have my business right there as well. There's a place up closer to the road where I can store all the tractors and all the attachments and everything else and run the business out of there. So I'm going to have a lot of needs for a backhoe when we move there. And now again, this is a pending sale, so I hesitate to bring it up, but we're through the inspections. We're kind of down that road. We're showing our house that we're in and everything else. So I think it's going to happen unless, you know, something crazy goes on. So anyway, that's the reason why I'm thinking about switching over to the 2018 that has a backhoe on it, all right? I've got a lot of projects that I can see using it for, and I know, I just did a video about the most overrated tractor attachments, and the backhoe was on there. I'm a walking contradiction, what can I say? Sometimes I just want things, and you know, I've got some projects for this, and you know what? I'm not going to keep this tractor forever. This isn't me buying a tractor I'm going to keep forever. This is me buying a tractor that I'm going to use for the year, so I'm buying it with that intent in mind, and then I'm going to get rid of it. You know, I'm going to move on to something else and try it out and have fun with it, you know? So anyway, that's the reason behind the potential move from the 2016 to the 18. So let me know what you think. Again, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, so I'll stick with the 2016 if it's going to be a big deal. Otherwise, I think I might move the duallies and everything over to the 2018. Leave a comment below. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you would, leave a comment below if you're looking for a different dimension. Either I can get it or somebody else watching hopefully has that dimension available for you. If you like this, I'm going to go ahead and do it on other tractor models as well. You know, 2 or 3 series, maybe Kubotas, you name it. I'll do what I can on there. I got to have time to make these videos though for sure. Hit subscribe below. I would really appreciate you following along. Go over to Facebook, hit like there. Instagram, put some cool stuff on there as well, so click follow. And of course, goodworkstractors.com. I can help with tractors and attachments, can help with delivery and financing too. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. I hate it when I forget things. I wanted to get you the dimension with a level bucket down. This kind of dimension here is good for getting over a bed rail, whether it's a dump trailer or your truck bed, and being able to dump something in there. So this will let you know what you can do with that dimension, what you can clear. I don't expect a difference between the 120R loader and the H120. We'll measure them both just to be safe. 63 inches, okay? So you can get over, maybe just barely touch, 63 inches. Well, what do you know, 63.5 inches. However, if I remember correctly, I think these tires were a 1/2 inch taller than the R4s. That probably makes a difference right there. So I didn't do this weight test myself, but Tractor Time with Tim, if you haven't watched his channel, check it out. And I'll post a link to this video that I'm referencing as well. But he did a measurement, a weight measurement, real world, where he put a bunch of weights in here and raised it up and saw how much weight it would lift to certain levels. And so this bucket here on the 1025R, it got 1,400 pounds off the ground, enough where he could shake the bucket down here and you could tell it was off the ground. To 4 foot high, he was able to lift up 700 pounds in the bucket of suitcase weights, that kind of thing. So there's a couple real world examples there for you that'll tell you approximately how much weight you're going to be able to pick up, whether you're lifting it up to 4 foot or just getting it off the ground. Keep in mind, if you have pallet forks, for instance, the further out that weight is from the base of the loader, the less you're going to be able to lift up.